Welcome back to the project. My name is Pete Pusick. This is the continuing publication and production of topics put into action. Last time we discussed the First Amendment and the freedom of speech. This time we talk about cultivation theory, specifically mean world syndrome. This is part 2 of a project that has been continuing to follow me throughout my educational career. This time is for Communication Class 360, taken the summer semester of 2016. This is my research study and my presentation. Before we can have an understanding or even a research concerning anything, we need to understand exactly what it is. As we are discussing the broad topic of cultivation theory, let's understand what cultivation theory is. Cultivation theory examines the long-term effects of television on an individual. Its primary statement is, quote, "The more time people spend living in the television world, the more likely they are to believe the social reality portrayed on television," unquote. If we take time to study, we will understand that over the past many years, cultivation theory has been the topic of many research studies, all the way from in-depth analysis to proving whether or not cultivation theory is actually legitimate or not. One of the lesser understood concepts of cultivation theory is what's called mean world syndrome. Now, mean world syndrome is part of cultivation theory, but it dictates this, quote, "The violence-related content of mass media makes viewers believe the world is more dangerous than it actually is," unquote. The thing to understand, though, and the primary question that we're looking at, how is fear and perception different? And are the two mixed up quite often? Fear studies have been conducted for decades. What causes fear? What causes an individual to be fearful? Why do people get scared? But the thing to understand, does advanced training make a difference on an individual? And can advanced training and better awareness make people less scared or less fearful? That is what this study is looking to achieve. If you spend time looking through scholarly papers, you will find literally hundreds upon hundreds of writings concerning fear analysis, cultivation theory, and media as it affects individuals, not only on a singular basis, but also on a group and coordinated basis. One fear study said multiple internal subconscious reactions take place before any individual is consciously aware that they are taking place. For example, heightened awareness, increased blood oxygen levels, bilateral and cognitive responses, just a few of the subconscious responses that are associated with fear. However, can heightened awareness as a natural response be misinterpreted as heightened awareness in fear? The two research questions that I wish to answer through the purpose of this study is the perception of awareness is often misinterpreted as fear, and with proper training, one may control their fear and ultimately improve their life. For many years, the topics have been studied and published. This study, hopefully, will incorporate some of the techniques that have been utilized in the past, as well as add survey and additional experimentation, as well as panel discussion and interview. Ultimately, the goal is to make sure that every participant and those who are part of this study will have equal opportunity to express themselves no matter what type of background they may have. Demographics for this study will be as follows. A minimum age of 18 simply believed that those who are 18 have determined what does and does not scare them. Additionally, an 18-year-old would be better equipped to express their fears or apprehension in any type of setting. And the selection will be capped at 200, as this is going to be a specialized study, and respondents will be prompted to take a pre-screening survey. From that pre-screening survey, we will then filter down and select 200 respondents to participate in this study. The 200 candidates that are selected for this study will then be asked to take another survey. From this survey, candidates will be ranked from strongest to least. The 5 top, the 5 low, and the 6 mean will be classified as a control group. The most, least, and medium. The control group would be the first to take lab tests and testing for the subconscious fear triggers, and placed in some of the non-lab settings to gauge their fear responses based on everyday situations. These situations will present opportunity to quantify the stimuli based on the average response of the control group to have a baseline used to gauge remaining candidates. For example, not everybody reacts the same way when a balloon gets overinflated and it pops. Not everybody gets startled the same way when somebody jumps up behind them and yells, "Boo!" This control group will help in establishing a baseline for what the average individual may be classified as fear stimuli or heightened awareness. These groups will also participate in panel discussions and interviews, which will be conducted to clarify any inconsistencies within the survey and in the lab results. Additionally, to discuss with one group will not deem as fearful versus another age group, which may or may not deem as fearful. Discussions will also include interactions with the media and how perceptions of media violence both increase or decrease their awareness or perception of fear that may or may not surround them. Within the surveys, lab experience, and non-lab experience, panel discussions, and interviews, there will be enough information presented to have a clear understanding as to who exactly is fearful and who is more susceptible to fear over who is not fearful and who is more aware of their surroundings. Moving forward and being armed with the knowledge of previous studies concerning fear and the knowledge that there are individuals who perceive fear differently than others, this study will offer clarification between fear response of heightened awareness and the typical response of those who are more aware of their surroundings. Additionally, neutral and trained awareness of an individual's surroundings adds to the complexity and the need for more research between the differences of fear and awareness. We expect to find that heightened awareness is a part of an autonomic fear response. There are those, however, through specialized training, possess heightened awareness naturally. We expect to discover, no matter what type of media may be presented to these individuals, that fear does not affect everyone in the same way. We hope to discover through the course of this study that fear is a result, while a dependent variable is stimuli, and the independent variable will consist of specialized training. Awareness may be the result, while the dependent variable is stimuli, and the independent variable is specialized training. This formula represents what we will use to quantify fear stimulus and gauge fear or awareness. The control group will offer assistance to assist in quantifying stimuli. They will determine on a scale where the fear changes to awareness. Numbers below a mean would imply fear, while those above the mean would imply awareness. Those with specialized training are more aware of their surroundings and being susceptible to increased fear on amount of media intervention would lower the direct result of their testing. It is our hope that through interview, panel discussion, and experiments that we were able to prove many have been confusing heightened awareness as a result of specialized training in fear.